Everybody, yeah, rock your body, yeah, everybody, rock your body, right? Man, what's going on, everybody? My name is Jonathan Jones, best-selling author of the book entitled Process, 14 Surprisingly Simple Behaviors to Skyrocket Millennials to Success. And I'm excited today to be here with y'all because personally I enjoy the opportunity to get to work with a college, to get to work with universities, to get to work with small businesses, and empowering their millennials as well as their students to pursue their passions for entrepreneurship. And today I just wrapped up having an opportunity to go into Richland College, my alma mater, working 3 sessions with the Male Achievement Program. And over there, what they're doing with the Male Achievement Program is just phenomenal. They have young men from all different walks of life, young men from all different parts of the country, young men who want to better their lives. So they've decided to get connected to the Brotherhood of the Male Achievement Program, headed by Mr. Gabe Randall, and they're doing a phenomenal job over there, having great speakers come in and add value, and as well as providing excellent activities for young men at Richland College. So that's phenomenal. But y'all, today I want to talk with you about the life of being a role model. That's right, the life of being a role model. Because today, as we close our final session, and I just began to think of, man, wow. Because when you think about being a role model, and for me in my personal life, there were times where I necessarily didn't want to be a role model. There were times where in my life where I was held to a standard that I didn't want to be held to at all. There were times in my life where, I was held accountable and I was irresponsible with that. If it be in college when I was just living for the pleasure of the lifestyle, living for the party, living for whatever was the next biggest thing. Y'all, and I began to think of just the life of a role model. Because those who've come before us, when you talk about your Muhammad Ali's, when you talk about, your Mother Teresa's, when you talk about your Rosa Parks, these are individuals who made a decision to do something that was beyond them. They made a decision to do something that they knew would impact years to come and generations and people and families to come. Y'all, I began to think about my own life and I started to say, if I didn't live in my calling, if I wasn't to be the individual that God has called me to be, would the people who came behind me, would they be able to benefit from a life that I lived? So y'all, today, one thing that I challenged a young man with today, I said, guys, who is that individual who has added value into your life? So for the first point I just want to share with y'all, I'm just going to give y'all 2 points, just 2 quick points. The first one is, who is somebody who's planted in your life? I told the gentleman, I said, take a moment and I said, pay homage to that individual. And then the backdrop of the role model, you see the backdrop of a picture my friend Tammy Coker took. He's a phenomenal photographer. In the picture, you see my dad and you see myself back to back. And you see the sunlight just shining over the both of us. And you see me a little bit taller than my dad. But one thing that I know that my dad did for me was make a sacrifice at times. One thing that my dad did, when he was wrong, he would own up to his wrongs. Even now, when my dad is wrong, my dad's like, John, son, I was wrong. He just calls it like it is, as well as if I'm wrong, he tells me too. But y'all, the first thing, understanding that we have role models all around us. We are role models in whatever facet or whatever area of our life we may be living in, however we're carrying out our life. But the question is, who's going to follow you? Can I write that in the column? Can you write who will follow you? Because there are things that we do sometimes, and we selfishly do them for ourselves because, it's our life, right? So we do these things for ourselves because it's our life, and we want to live our life the way we live it. But when we live our lives, are we living it for ourselves all the time? Or are we living it for others? Because role models are individuals who live that life honoring other people. Role models are people who live that life to lay a foundation for somebody to come behind them, lay a foundation so that people have the opportunity to build upon what they've left behind. Who will follow you? Who will follow you based on the type of life that you're going to lead today? I challenged the young men. I said, guys, imagine you get to the house right? And imagine that when you're at the house, imagine that an individual cooks a meal for you. Y'all, we're outside at University Park Library because this is as transparent as it gets. It's a little rugged, but that's how life is sometimes. But I challenged them. I said, guys, imagine you stay at home with your family, and these individuals, they cook a meal for you. They cook a meal and they leave the dishes in the sink. And I said, how many of y'all go and y'all wash that dish? Some of them just looked around. And once again, I'm dealing with the Male Achievement Program, and this is Transparent Tuesday, so we putting it all out there. I said, imagine if you sit there, you eat the meal, you sit there, you see the dishes dirty in the sink, you don't wash them, and then lastly, you allow the person who cooked the meal to go and wash the dish. I said, if you don't do any of those things, I said, what is your use? What is your purpose? I said, you're virtually useless, because you're not serving any purpose. The person before you cook the meal, the person after you wash the dishes, and then what you're doing is you're just contributing to something that somebody will have to put additional work into. So y'all, when we think about being a role model, we're not trying to carry on, we're not trying to add on to the load that somebody else will take. We're trying to lighten the load for another individual. Everybody hopping in, I just encourage you just to share this message, just because I want to continue to expand the impact. I want to continue just to challenge other people to understand the life of a role model. Y'all, the life of a role model isn't always desirable. Washing dishes isn't desirable. Taking the time and, taking out the trash, taking the time to wash the dishes, taking the time to mow the lawn, doing these things. I told them, I said, y'all, I said, I'm in grad school now, so I said, I still stay at home. Just being honest. And I said, my mom, she wants to make life easier for me because, parents, they don't want their kids to struggle. Even when kids are younger, when you scrape your knee, your parents are like, oh, I wish I could have helped you. I wish I could have stopped you from making that mistake or falling. But yeah, I said I had to get to the extent to where I would have to get up sometimes. Now I'd have to be uncomfortable waking up to where I'd have to get outside to where I could throw the trash away before my mom had to do it. To where I would start washing the dishes, to where my mom wouldn't have to come back at the end of the day and wash the dishes. At the end of the day, being a role model, we have to step up. Can somebody write set the standard? That's going to be the second one. The first one's who will follow you. The second point is going to be set the standard. I was going to give y'all two, but we're going to go bonus, so I'm going to give you three. Put set the standard. Because at the end of the day, the people around you and the people who see you living your life a certain way will determine, wow, based on the way Jonathan is living his life, I want to model my life after that. So based on the way Mike Cullen is putting in work, because he wants to be a dynamic speaker. The way Mike Cullen continues to put in work and continues to put in effort, I want to be like him. The way Mercedes Anderson goes to the hospital and visits friends when nobody sees her do it because she has a heart, I want to love people like that. The way we live our lives will determine if people will follow us. At the end of the day, if we're not doing anything worth people to follow, people will see you, people will challenge your beliefs, and then when people challenge your beliefs, they're going to watch and see if you crumble. Y'all, somebody write set the standard again. Write set the standard again. I'm really feeling set the standard today. Because if we don't ever set the standard, and if we don't stand for something, then people will crumble. Yeah, I'm gonna hit on this one, and I'm gonna move. I don't want to get too carried away with this one. Welcome in, Dr. Fred Jones. But let's throw the name out there because his name has been everywhere. Let's throw out the name Colin Kaepernick. I'm gonna throw it out. He has set a standard. I saw an interview today. As I was preparing for my presentation, I saw an interview of Colin Kaepernick. And Colin Kaepernick said the fact of, I'm going to take a stance. And I'm going to take a stance because he said something has to be done as well as something having to be done. He said people taking a stance will lose money. They will lose endorsements. They will lose all of these things. But Colin Kaepernick said, I'm willing to pay that price. What price are you willing to pay to set a standard? Everybody, please make sure you share this broadcast. We need to expand this message. Somebody needs to feel this today. Somebody needs to set a standard in their life today. Y'all, we have to raise the bar on the standard of our own living, of our own lives, because our legacy is dependent on that. Our legacy is dependent on the standard that we set. The legacy and the amount of value and the amount of work and the amount of effort that you add and the amount of these things that you apply directly into your life will determine what type of legacy you leave. Mother Teresa has passed away. We still continue to mention her name with the greats because she is one of the greatest there is. Dr. King's name will continue to be shared all over, and Let Freedom Ring will continue to be a speech that rings in our ears because he set a standard. Rosa Parks, she set a standard. Gandhi set a standard. These people set standards that people didn't want to touch. But y'all, at the end of the day, we all don't have the same platform. We all don't have the same gift. We all don't have the same purpose. But at the end of the day, just like the word tells us, the hand needs the feet need, we all need each other. When it comes to talking about the body of Christ, we all need each other to do our individual tasks. In us doing our individual tasks, we come together just like a well fine-tuned machine in a car, and the engine and the tires and the steering wheel. You put it all together and you make moves to get where you're going. But if you don't have your tires, you can't move. You don't have the brakes, you can't slow down. You don't have the steering wheel, you can't control yourself. Where are you going with your life? So first of all, the first point is, who will follow you? I want y'all to remember that. Who will follow you? Secondly, we have to set the standard. I want you to put set the standard. You can put raise the standard, because setting the standard, and depending on how those individuals who see us the way we're living our life, they will determine if they want to raise their standard based on the way we're living, or they'll say, you know what, you're not living a life worth being modeled after, so I'm just going to lower the standard. And then lastly, the individual has to determine, how will I be remembered? Everybody, can you write that in the comment section down at the bottom? How will I be remembered? How will I be remembered? How will I be remembered? Because when it comes to a point and we start talking about how will I be remembered, then if we were to sit down, today I challenged a young man in the male achievement program. I challenged him, I said, flip your paper over. And I said, on the back of the paper, I said, I want you to write your own obituary. Because 2 weeks before, we talked about the career and the jobs that these gentlemen would like to have for themselves. And I said on the back, I want you to write your own obituary based on you achieving the desired lifestyle for yourself, or achieving the goal and the careers and the dreams that you have for yourself. How will I be remembered? I want y'all to ask yourself that question today. How will I be remembered? Will I be remembered for somebody who adds worth to other individuals? My dad, Dr. Fred Jones, he is the world's only worthologist because he pours into people so much. I don't even know how they even have enough room to hold it all in. My dad praises people so well and adds so much value to people. Mercedes loves people like I've never seen before. Shanterica, I know she has a heart for children. Mike Cullen has a heart for fitness. Patrice hopped in here. I know she loves doing makeup and doing things of that nature. Y'all, what will you be remembered for? Who will remember you? When you're gone, will it be silent at your funeral? Will we be able to hear crickets? Or will it get to the point where it's the sun rising and the sun setting and they're like, wait, we might have to wrap it up? Will it be the fact of when it's time for the funeral to be over, they'll say, wait a minute, but I'm not done. I still have something to say. I want to say this about Jonathan. I want to say this about Mercedes. I want to say this about Dr. Fred. I want to say this about Shanterica. I want to say this about Mike Cullen. What will they say about you? How will they remember you? Will they remember you for serving other people? Or like my dad said he was going to do a scope. I hope he didn't do it already. I hope you did do it already, actually, Dad. He was talking about people being selfish. Will you be remembered for being somebody who was selfish? Somebody always coming up short and you saying, I don't have it. I can't help you out. I'm sorry. I can't do anything for you. I'm all out. I'm all out of cares. I'm all out of cents. I'm all out of dollars. I'm all out of food. But then you go inside your house and then you selfishly take these things for yourself. How will you be remembered? So as I prepare to close, I'm just going to wrap it up one more time. If you haven't shared, I challenge you just to share this message so that somebody can be touched today. So the first point today is going to be, who will follow you? Who will follow you? Because we're talking about the life of a role model. And like I said, we brought up Colin Kaepernick. He took a stance by himself. I'm going to say that one more time. Kaepernick took a stance by himself first. He was a role model. He took a step out there by himself before anybody else dropped on their knee. Now other people are starting to say, wait a minute, let me look at myself and let me drop to a knee too. Ray Lewis, the same individual who was talking about him, saying he was silly for dropping to a knee. On Sunday, I saw images of Ray Lewis drop down on both knees. When you're a role model and you don't live for the opinions of man, when you're a role model, you're living for the greater good of what you know should be done, then those who have their own opinions, they'll begin to challenge their own beliefs because you're so strong and you're so set in your own ways. Who will follow you? Number 2, raise the standard. Because life is too short for you to be average. Life is too short for you to be complacent. Life is too short for you to be basic. Max out on your life. Max out on the impact that you can have. Max out on service. Don't half do anything. Don't go in. Don't go in halfway. Kind of like people before they test the pool, they test the water. Just jump in. Get busy with your service. Get busy with your action. Get busy with your movement. Who will follow you? Lastly, how do you want to be remembered? How do you want to be remembered? How do you want to be remembered? Once again, everybody, my name is Jonathan Jones, the best-selling author of this book, Process, 14 Surprisingly Simple Behaviors to Skyrocket Millennials to Success. I'm going to pop my website up at the top so you can hop on my email list. I send out a weekly e-blast just to send you a little boost of inspiration throughout your week with a few words from me. And we need to just continue to hold others accountable to raising the standard, because we weren't called to do things just regular. Jesus didn't do things regular. First of all, Jesus was a carpenter, so he was working hard. He was working diligent in that. As well as he was going in places, flipping over tables. He was healing people. He was doing things that weren't seen. He was doing things that weren't heard of. So why should you be doing things that everybody else is doing? Why should you be trying to just set the bar so low for yourself? Don't be basic. Don't be regular. Don't be average. Be unique. Be different. Be great. Be bold. Be audacious. Be amazing. Be awesome. And be a servant leader. Be a role model. The life of a role model, friends. Thank you for your time today. I appreciate you hanging out with me today. Everybody who shared this broadcast, I appreciate you. Everybody who took the time to watch a little bit, I appreciate you as well. So continue to be great, continue to serve others, and continue to be a role model in your sphere of influence, because people are looking up to you if you know it or not. And you will be held accountable. So let's continue to be great. Let's continue to serve others, and let's continue to be a role model. All right. Hope you have a great rest of the week. Bye-bye.